Good evening, everybody. This is Ryan Bauer, Bearded Sim Racer. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight. Tonight, this is a special event, a continuation of last week's completely awesome Silly Hats only, no pedal, no wheel invitational. Hopefully with about 20-ish more individuals tonight. I've got some new faces with some new interesting setups that we're going to see out there tonight. So really excited to be able to bring that to you tonight. And again, I want to thank you for torching a couple hours of your life and joining us for this presentation. Later on after this is the claustrophobic affirmation of a dead Detroit brand. But first, we'll have encore of last week's awesome Silly Hats race. So again, this is Bearded Sim Racer. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. Should be joined here shortly by Eric, Judge Phil, and Sean Yoder as well. So Everything Bagel will be joining us shortly. So the guys are out there warming up now. We'll see if we can get an eye on a couple of these guys. See what they're up to, having a great old time. We have Eric Hesser out there. Let's take a look at my notes for Eric and see what he is using to control his vehicle. He's the gentleman that's using the laptop with the PS4 controller on the IKEA table with the look of Road America. So I have a picture of that for everybody. There you go. So that gives you an idea what Eric's working with. So he's using a PS4 controller. We've got Garrett Shander out there, and I'm working on getting the in-game sound to come through for you guys. Not sure what's going on there. Let's see here. Garrett Shander, he is using an Xbox controller as well, unless he got his adapter to use his Pong controller, which will be very interesting to see. So it looks to me like he's still on that Xbox controller, as good as Garrett's getting around the track out there. Let's see here. We've got Brian Trainer. He is using a rig that works entirely from his helmet in string. So he has strings. He turns his head to the right to steer to the left and lean back for acceleration. So far, no shifter, no brakes, but freaking send it. Brian, that is great. That's fantastic.
It's looking good.
Yeah, hey, there's Judge Phil. How you doing, Judge?
I'm pretty good.
Good. I'm working on getting
interrupt your flow.
Oh no, you're not at all. You're not. It's just okay. I'm just trying to find some people that aren't on Xbox controllers too, because I'm figuring it'd be a little more interesting to talk about right now. But I'm actually going to troubleshoot what's going on with the sound. So
well, that's like the team that brings like an E21 instead of an E30 to a race. I mean, we respect the fact that you're not doing an E30, but you can do better than the Xbox controller. I want to know more about the TARP racing controller that. All we know about it is that Play-Doh is involved. I don't know if he's like squishing a blob of Play-Doh and causing that to,
There are Play-Doh and wires involved. That's Pat Mullery. Yeah, Pat has not joined us yet in the session. Well, now we have sound. Yay! Gotta love Windows and its display management. Anyway, so yeah, this is Hyatt Busby on our screen, and don't have any notes about him, but I'm assuming he has something entertaining going on for his controls. Let's see. Oh, there's a street stock, good looking street. Ooh, I like the look on that, and that reminds me actually. There we go. That should fix us up on the paint jobs.
The street stocks have a satisfying amount of suspension travel and what appears to be about, 30 degrees of play in the steering. So that actually is accurate Camaro representation.
Yeah, they did laser scan the car, so I'm sure they wanted to get that authentic feel. I know whenever I drive the street stocks, it's kind of ridiculous how much wheel you have to put into them, so that should be par for the course for what you're saying. I don't have any experience with real-life Camaros, but I can only imagine.
Do.
Nice.
They're god-awful, but in a very American way, which means they're great. It's kind of like American beer, you drink enough of it, and suddenly the idea of being out on your pontoon boat and getting a head injury seems like a good one.
A lot of F's in chat already. Let's see what. Oh, everybody in chat, how you doing tonight? Thanks for tuning in and joining us. Yeah. Shout out to our viewers on Twitch. We love you. So, how's your day been, Judge Phil? What have you been up to today?
Today's been, very eventful. Well, let's see. I had to bring some old Lexus SC400 wheels to Pull and Pay to get my core charge back on them because I got some LS400 wheels.
Nice.
Very exciting. Yeah, they're open for business, if you do some social distancing and wear a mask and all that. But there's a lot of... I saw somebody wearing a mask made out of a torn-off airbag from a car in the junkyard.
Wow.
So, I'm not really quite sure how effective that would have been. But yeah, I ended up... Yokohama gave me some 17-inch tires, which is nice, and for my LS400. But I got to get just the right wheels for it, and I'm having a lot of problems getting the right offset, so I figured I'd already put snow tires on my regular street wheels. So I better go to the junkyard to get another set of LS400 wheels, and that got to be more of an adventure than I really wanted. But while I was there, I had a really good car clock score. I actually found a first-generation Hyundai Excel that came with a factory clock. Can you believe it?
That's amazing.
Someone actually paid. It was probably like $200 to get a clock in the Excel. I took the instrument cluster apart to get to this clock.
Yes.
I know this is already getting boring, but I took it apart.
No.
And on the back side, on the printed circuit board, actually had etched into it deluxe model USA only. So it's like, man, they understood that Americans need clocks in their Hyundais.
Yes, they do.
So now I actually have added to my collection of over 200 car clocks the incredibly rare, Hyundai clock.
Wow. Now, is it analog or digital?
Clock. Oh, it's analog, of course.
That's fantastic.
This clock actually had a rear defroster, so I think it was probably, like a display model that they take to the shows.
Yeah, like at the showroom, that this is the top of the line model with all of the add-ons, including the clock.
Let's just say, let's say you've got enough to get a Yugo back in 1989. That means you probably qualify to be able to make payments on an Excel. Might as well get that. And then I guess they figured they might as well show off what they were capable of. Yeah, the weird thing is Hyundais are great now, but in the first generation Excel barely qualifies as a car. I think the Yugo is a better car. So the fact that you could get a pretty snazzy looking clock, dash clock as an extra in these cars, I had no idea such a thing existed. But it was 2 cars down from the LS400 I grabbed the wheels off of, and it's like, man, I must have that clock. So I grabbed it, and while I was at it, there was also a 1980 Mercury Cougar XR7, which is like the Fox sedan version. It's a two-door sedan. And I grabbed the clock off of that, but of course it doesn't work, and I got cheated of my $5 for that one.
Yeah. Does it at least make a nice coffee table piece or paperweight, maybe?
Well, it's dirty and smells like 10 million packs of Winstons, but sure. Well, remember, it's a 1980 Mercury. Who would have bought a Mercury a serious Winston smoker?
Didn't those have 4 ashtrays in the
It's funny. I was talking to Sanjeev Mehta, who's a real nerd for these horrible early 80s Ford cars. And I sent him some pictures like, oh my God, that has the incredibly rare XR7 center console. It was a 1-year only option. You need to pull it. Really? Is it worth something? No, he just wants to save it from the crusher because it's so incredibly rare and valuable. They'll make a museum around this thing. So I'll probably get it for him because it's Sanjeev. He's a fellow judge, and
that's
I understand
great.
He has his eccentricities like all of us, and they mostly involve really terrible Fords. But Jay made the point that Sanjeev is smarter than all of us because he restores like 1996 Lincoln Continentals and stuff like that their junkyards are full of them. He has no problem getting parts. They're all cheap. If he needs another car, if he has to buy a whole car for a lock knob, he'll do it. It's like the rest of us, I'm going to get a Lancia Berlina. It's going to be great. And where are you going to get parts for that? Every single car in his vast collection of horrible Fords, he can go to any junkyard and get everything he needs. So he's really smarter than all of us.
We're taking a look now at someone in the chat was saying, "Hey, Brian Trainer's out there, the master, master thespian." This is a picture of Brian's configuration that he's using. He has strings, like I mentioned before, tied to his helmet. Judge Phil, if you can see the Discord feed there.
I'm looking at that.
Yeah, and they go to his PlayStation controller. So he did not choose a more linear control surface, just a more linear way to control it. So this should be interesting.
What's the story with the green yarn that goes to what looks like another
so the
shed?
green, so the green yarn. Okay, let me make sure I'm making. Okay, so the green
there like a
yarn,
stabilizer
the
there?
green yarn is the accelerator. So he leans back to accelerate.
I see. Okay.
So I'm guessing it pushes the R2 trigger. Would be looking at the picture there. It looks like there's some kind of metal plate that pushes back on the trigger on that side. So
okay. I thought it was tied to another chair in front of it. That's just an
it looks
optical
like
illusion.
it's an optical illusion, but it looks like he hasn't got around to doing the brakes yet. So everybody just kind of keep that in mind. But that's fantastic, Brian. We applaud your ingenuity and your craftsmanship. It's fantastic.
Sort of
now,
working.
Yeah, so we've been on board with Brian for a while now. So now you can imagine how he's actually driving. He's sitting there, turning his head the opposite direction to turn, and leaning back to accelerate with no way to shift or brake. So
is there an automatic setting? I actually haven't driven it.
Yes.
Okay.
There is an automatic. Although it does sounds like it's in give me the high gear, as crew chief Harry Hogg would say, give me the high gear. But he's doing a fantastic job. I mean, we've been watching him for a few laps now. I'm very impressed. Yes, that jankiness is next level. That's fantastic. Yeah, you're right, Christiane. Who needs brakes? Not Brian Trainer. That's who.
He's doing better than the guitar controlled car last time.
Yes.
Or time before last.
Yes. I have to give Brian a shout out for taking the controller, crap for using a controller and actually making it more crappy. So thank you, Brian. That's fantastic. Let's take a look. We got Randy Bish out there. Let's take a look and see what his updated setup is. Looks like he's still using the pedals for steering and the one pedal for steer. Okay, just one pedal for steering, and the other pedal does throttle and brake. So it's like a speedboat throttle made by someone who has never actually seen a speedboat. Randy, that's fantastic.
I like the Donnie Iris livery too. That's pretty nice. Iris is one of the most famous Pittsburgh musicians of the very late 80s for a brief period.
Nice. Let's get a better look at that. Oh, yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
420.
Oh, yeah.
420 is actually a really hard number to get at almost every race. But
right. It's one of the first ones to go, right? Yeah.
As you might imagine, it's really hard to get at the Colorado races.
There's a lot of demand on the number 420 at 11.
We legalized it before anybody else, so everybody wants to show that they're happy with all the tax money we're getting.
Right.
You've got an everything bagel here. Just
hello
for Donnie Iris heading down to Pants and That, which is a famous Yinzer deal.
I'm the right age to have experienced a lot of Donnie Iris, and I only remember the name. I really can't. When I've heard his big hits, I think he had to be in Pittsburgh to really grasp the Donnie Iris thing.
Absolutely. He still plays shows in Pittsburgh, and as far as I know, only in Pittsburgh.
One of the first cassette tapes I ever owned that I actually found in a junkyard when I was 16 was the soundtrack to Heavy Metal, the animation, the animated movie, and there's two songs on it by Riggs. Man, what was Riggs? It was just like a bar band from, I think, St. Louis that got two songs on the Heavy Metal soundtrack, and they're actually not bad, and they're kind of Donnie Iris-like. So I bet at some point in 1997 you could see Riggs and Donnie Iris playing together on like a cruise ship,
Let's take a look here with generic Ian Davies, who reminds you again. I'll pull a picture up, let you guys can finish your conversation. But here's a picture of what Ian is using to control his vehicle tonight. Fantastic.
It looks like he just flipped it about 18 times end over end.
He's also driving in his boxer shorts.
So who's the guy? So I want to know more about the team that is controlling by different pitches of whistling.
Oh, he's outside of the track. We're not. I just now caught that. He's actually outside. Look at that. That's great.
If your mouth gets dry and you can't whistle, do you just run into the wall?
So that was Joseph
the whistler.
Blackwell, who's sitting out this one. He was actually playing a saxophone, and his roommates got so annoyed with him they made him retire from the race. Yeah.
You could play a rubber chicken too. You could just keep squeaking the rubber chicken. That would work.
That would work. It just or what about a balloon? You could air up a balloon and do like balloon squeal day and just let a little bit out and use that noise. That would be hilarious. On board with Troy Frew, who you'll remember is using the Etch-a-Sketch the $5 Etch-a-Sketch $11 Arduino, two $3 potentiometers. So his left knob does brake and throttle. His right knob does steering. They're endless spin potentiometers, so if he goes anywhere outside of the range, it just goes to complete instant opposite input. So that could be entertaining.
That could all be done more analog. I mean, Arduino's great. I dig it and all that, but I mean, that seems kind of like the E30 of electronics.
So you're thinking like a variable resistor of some sort?
I think like the way they did it, like when they were first, when Volto was first experimenting with electronics, and he would just wrap a whole bunch of wire around a rod of marble, and then for different levels of resistance, he would just run a conductor up and down. I think I would use a railroad spike.
Yes, yes. I want to see a theremin, and I want to hear it while it's happening.
There's been talk of theremin-controlled Lemons cars, and disappointingly, we haven't seen one yet. Actually, I was just talking to Rich Von Steiner, and one of our judges here in Colorado, and so he knows that I made an arcade emulator, a MAME emulator with a trackball, because my favorite video game from back in the day was Missile Command, which requires a trackball. So I got the trackball thing and put it on my MAME controller.
Yeah, I have a trackball sitting here too.
He was saying what I ought to do is rig up just a wheel on the end of a just variable speed drill and use that on the trackball for steering to race in iRacing. So you have to switch direction on the drill to go left and right, or I guess flip the drill 180 degrees. You could do that too.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, whoa, it's a little loud. Sorry. So yeah, a race is about to take place. We were just showing Jonathan Lyons, and we'll wait till the race gets started here to talk about that. But as you can see here on the back of his car, it says "Turn and Churn."
Oh yeah, the butter churn.
Yes. Jonathan is using a Lemons butter churn from the. Let's see here. Let me pull up a picture of it for everybody.
The Lemons Rally. So it was on the back of his Festiva that had the roof chopped off of it, which he decided would be a good Amish buggy.
There we go. There's a picture of it. That's wonderful.
We had some Amish gentlemen come and sell rain and piss-soaked firewood at the House of Budges race. So there is sort of an Amish connection to Lemons. Yeah, they were charging a lot for that too. So everyone had to soak it with gasoline.
And I have a video of Jonathan using his butter churn to operate his vehicle, and I'm going to play that now. Yeah, here we go.
Do that.
It is less X-rated than I thought it would be.
No comment.
Yeah, you can see he twists the shaft of the butter churn. The what is the correct vernacular for the shaft in the butter churn?
There's got to be a word for it. I bet it's German, but I couldn't tell you.
He's clearly struggling.
We're crashing behind the pace car, as it can be expected.
It's probably one of those German 49-syllable compound words.
It's very unnerving going on the rear bumper camera of someone that's not using a steering wheel when it's jerking back and forth. It's wow.
And now we're in death. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Ian was blinking a little bit, and that was wow. That's an impressive.
Rapid control inputs on some of these cars.
Ian,
must be hard of a tolerance.
Ian, as you'll remember, is using a DJ setup with a Roland 303 synth, a keytar, and a tractor crossfader. So that's yeah, and he's taken off from the pole, and he's gone, and the green flag is out.
We'll see how many corners he gets. I think the over/under is 1.
No, he just did one.
There you go. He's boogieing now. Yeah.
Excellent. Brandon Mullins behind him using the Guitar Hero controller. Was the original guy who kind of got us headed down this path. Let's see.
Oh, we got some crashing going on.
Yep. And there's Brandon Mullins. Drum the apex, it says on the side somewhere.
And I'd like whatever team who gave me the etched shot glass in the South Fall 2009 race to know that I'm using it right now for my iRacing drinking.
I love that. Strum the apex. That's great.
And I'm actually on my...
The Amish buggy could not stop churning quickly enough.
On my
amazing recovery. Some buggy out. Brandon disappeared.
He punted him into the ether.
Yeah, literally, apparently. Wow.
Sam Goebel in the 287 is driving a Mr. Bean setup. So if you've seen the Mr. Bean skit, he's got the ropes tied to the steering wheel. And literally in his living room, is sitting in his easy chair 6 feet away with a broom handle operating the gas and brake.
It appeared to that. Why would you not use yarn? I mean, yarn has a nice stretch factor built in. That's very GM-like. Very GM steering control-like. So I think that's fairly accurate. I mean, ideally you'd want to use some, very polyester sort of yarn. I mean, there's a little bit of slop, got to admit.
Yep, here's his Brian Trainer setup, which I'm super pumped to see with the Hans.
A little bit of crashing.
Yeah, hey, amazing recovery. Considering he has to look the opposite direction, so he goes into the corner and looks to the right to turn left. That would be like the most.
But he did manage to inadvertently pit a Camaro, so that's okay.
It was fantastic. As we see some drifting on the infield, fantastic. That's the is that the Guitar Hero controller? Yes. That's
I'd like to comment too, because every once in a while we see the audience here. Note that all of the people in the audience are looking up with their zombie-like eyes. They're not actually watching the race; they're watching angels. And I think it's because this is actually a gathering of the Juggalos, and they just went to the drug bridge.
That makes more sense if you think about it like that way.
I mean, they're wearing tie-dye shirts too.
Right.
Okay.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's wow. That was a pass for the lead.
The red and black car behind them is Tom Pyrak on the bicycle again. I didn't get a chance to see it. I just saw a preview of the email he sent me right before the race, saying there's now a crutch involved somewhere in operating the clutch. I don't know anything else about it.
You know what? We'll go on board. He's doing a fantastic job. There we go.
He's riding a bicycle, and to accelerate, he needs to be pedaling at all times.
Does the gear ratio he chooses on his bicycle make a difference? I mean, is it taking the speed off the rear wheel or just off the crank?
It just is. I don't know.
Okay, because that makes a difference. I mean, you'd have all your different gear ratios. And I gotta say, like, I had a commute on my bicycle years ago in California that went down a really steep hill, and I needed a taller top end. And I went to the bike shop and said, "Yeah, I need a better gear ratio for my final drive." And they're like, "What is that car talk you're using? We will not work on your bicycle unless you use the correct terminology." I realized, oh god, it's like goldfish breeders.
Whoa! So a car with headlights is rapidly flipping. That was Eric Hesser. Wow!
From the lead.
We got it. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna see a replay of that. That was incredible. Okay, here's the replay. Enjoy, everyone.
Okay. He gets an
ACR feed in the comments asking if we have any specially named corners at this track. They're all called the left, I believe.
I think we should have one called the drug bridge.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
Oh,
that centrifuge driver's blood vessel is pretty good there. I would say that would be fatal in a real world crash.
Do we dare go on board for that?
Nice.
I don't know.
I think that's worth an on board.
Okay, well it's going to be
on board. That's going to involve a lot of sky ground.
All right, here's the gyro cam. Everybody, hang on.
All right.
Comes up on Mr. Bean here, who is minding his own business as much as Mr. Bean can.
Yeah, the give in the yarn might have betrayed him there. Wow, that was about 50 G's of centrifugal force right there. But all is well. All right, here we go. Okay, still turning.
That was the washing machine on tumble.
Oh, he found his way back onto the track.
So much better.
Talent.
No damage. No
talent.
Damage in it.
Yes, that's good. It's good.
Flag.
Yeah, that's.
We would have had 11 deaths already in a real race, so this is great.
Back to our leader here, Randy Bish.
I think Donnie Iris is sort of like the Pittsburgh poor man's Billy Squire. Am I right? Is that kind of accurate?
I think that's as accurate as anything you're going to get.
Billy Squire, I'm much more familiar with.
So Randy Bish has
and also dead.
had an 11-second lead. Oh, somebody better help him out. We have a turtle. We have a turtle.
That means Ian Davies in the Tom Pyrak just got sent into the Atlantic Ocean right there.
That's the nice thing about the smaller fields. We can actually. All right, here we go. Here's a look at what happened to Tom as he got into it with another competitor, and the Camaro came along and helped him out just a little bit here. We get a look at that.
Here
it is. Oh, that is beautiful.
That was
graceful.
I don't think roll cages are made to endure that.
There was a
Yeah.
70 feet.
Oh,
That was graceful. Mama raised him graceful.
that was a style point thing. We should do the greatest crashes of iRacing, and that would be on it.
Even the East German judge is holding up a
Oh.
10. As the race leader is 40 feet outside the racetrack also.
Who is
Do you still
that?
get counted for your laps if you do that?
I don't think
know.
so. Where'd he go? Oh, he's trying to get back on the track.
He's in the woods. Well, this is Stafford, right?
Yeah, no, it's Thompson.
It's Thompson,
Oh, that's
but-
I worked all the
yes.
Stafford
He's
races,
almost.
but
Oh, somebody. Yes, I was gonna say somebody help him out.
That's the problem right there.
There you go, Mr.
Yes, Mr.
Okay.
Bean is.
All right, everything's good now.
We got to thank Mr.
Yeah,
Bean
I've actually never
for.
worked the Thompson race. I've only worked Stafford, but I hear they're very similar and same people. So
Andrew Benna in our text chat says Ian Davies just tried to go to the snack bar.
I think
which
he
is
made it.
correct.
I think
believe
he
that
made it.
berm is where you can watch the race when Lemons is on the road course here at Thompson.
Which is a wonderful road course. iRacing, listen up.
Yeah, agreed. We would like that one. That would
Yes.
be great.
Yeah. As
As
my,
if
my
iRacing
dogs
was
will give their input about it too. Yeah.
is Reno Fernley available on iRacing?
Reno,
Because we'd have to have the roundabout on the way to the track too, which kills more people than alcoholism in Nevada.
I don't know if that's possible. Ted
No,
Ford,
it's-
third place. Hey,
They
I'm
actually
not-
sell. I survived the Fernley roundabout shirts at all the gas stations there. It's very confusing. That's also the track where the wild horses on the race course are a thing.
Okay, what?
Unbelievable. It's like
They have wild horses like crazy there. There are all these horse protection leagues that mean that you can't have horse hunting. And so the track is surrounded by these giant herds of wild horses, and they get on the track. They have giant piles of horse poop on the track.
Wow.
Apparently, most of the time they're afraid of races and the sound of cars, but not always. So cars hit horses, and you really don't want to hit a horse. They're the high
No.
center of gravity and the tall legs. It's kind of disastrous. It was one of the many things to worry about at that track.
oh, and somebody else headed to the
with the
snack bar.
with the assist.
Tom Pyrek. Very nicely done.
You know, I worked at the snack bar at the Island Auto Movie in Alameda when I was in high school, and I got to say, like, one thing I learned, and this applies to racetrack snack bars too. Do you know that ice machines can get silverfish?
Can we
Fun fact.
that was an excellent Rockford turn there in the Miata Bro car.
Can you control the parking brake in iRacing?
I
No.
believe you can.
Some cars
would be
have
doing nothing
have a handbrake, but not all.
That's just not right.
All right, let's
the
get
problem is there's no Dodge Dynasty in iRacing. I mean, really, it all stems from that problem.
Right. We'll get another look at Tyler's collision and then his
Oh, yeah,
incredible
okay.
Rockford turn.
I like this. Just chuck it in reverse and
and there's more excitement.
some other things happening.
Well, in a real race, they'd actually have to establish a mass grave in the infield.
Thank you to whoever set the session up to be evening/night because that was that was nice. That was great.
You know, I'm disappointed the audience is not vomiting, and they'd be drinking enough right now that they would actually be vomiting, I would say, fluorescent green Retsina.
I don't know where to go with that. That's great.
You can't go anywhere with that.
Is John Lyons out? I see he is DFL at the moment.
Oh, Miata Bro.
And he-
Here we go.
I see that from the in-car.
Whoa, the headlights. That's
That
incredible.
was pretty ugly. Here we go. Well,
There's Jonathan Lyons. He's still going.
he's using the old Gran Turismo trick.
we'll keep you going the
Uh-oh.
right way when this happens. Maybe no one will hit it.
Churning that butter.
Okay, reverse force too.
The churn is when you have the churn down as you go past a rolling Volkswagen, gas on. When you lift it, it immediately goes to full brake. And if you twist it right and left, that's
How is he
So
going in
it's-
reverse? That's incredible.
I don't
fine,
know what the gear
you know,
shift setup is.
There's
there
no
we go.
subtlety about application of brake or throttle. It's all or nothing, I assume.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hang that hard left,
Well,
buddy.
he's
You
got
can
full
do it.
throttle, full left input, and now he gets zapped.
Here we
it
go.
comes. Okay, no.
I would have totally expected one there. You're right.
Yeah, that's a place to get grease. But no.
Oh, Camaro is always down
Riding
for
the wall there.
always down for a good time with a Camaro. Oh,
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was a nice move.
crunch. Time to bring the crunch.
In
Randy
a real
Bish
race,
running
the
in
people
second.
who didn't die would be coming to us and screaming about how other drivers were so terrible and we should be mean to them. They'd be complaining a lot about the other drivers because this is the East Coast. So, actually, one thing we get at East Coast races too that doesn't happen anywhere else is once people figured out that we bring in cars for fuel leaks, like 8 of the top 10 will come in and say, "Hey, I saw the P3 car dumping gas like crazy." You know, they're like narking on the people who aren't dumping gas.
Espionage. Yeah.
Bring them in. Yeah. Well, I mean, what they don't understand is like, yeah, you can report all you want. We like it when you tell us about fuel leaks, but if one of our flaggers doesn't actually see it happening, we're not bringing the car in. So the East Coast thing, I mean, the way they kind of do things there, you know, when they're not screaming at each other, they're reporting other teams for spurious fuel leaks. I love East Coast racers, though. I gotta say. I mean, they don't have any sense of entitlement. I'll give them that. Like California racers, Texas racers, so bloated with entitlement, they might as well be dirigibles, if you know what I'm saying, full of entitlement. East Coast racer, they just want to have an argument. That's it. Like when they're done racing, they have an argument over food. It's always a good-natured argument until they start stabbing each other with sharpened screwdrivers, but it's fine.
Matt Sitko, your leader, by the way, is driving with a set of flight sim controls using the rudder to steer, which I got to say, he's an excellent pilot from the looks of it.
Airplanes, right?
Yeah. And then the toe brakes are used for the clutch and the brake.
I love your take from that. He must be an excellent pilot.
Well, I mean, he's got smooth input.
He's very smooth.
The sky does not have anything made of concrete.
That's true. Well, the runways, but yeah.
That's on the ground. So,
actually, the first time
that's part of the piloting process is taking off and landing. So, I mean, it's part of it.
You know, they say that's hard, but you know, the gravity wants you to get to the ground.
That's true.
Yeah.
Brandon
First time I ever took the controls of a Cessna, I was shocked to realize that when you push right on the rudder controls, it actually turns you right. I was expecting it to be more like kind of like one of your homemade go-karts with rope steering. Totally the opposite.
Huh.
Yeah.
Mullins driving solo. They were trying to set it up with the Rock Band setup so that the pedals were being controlled by the drummer and the steering was being controlled with the Guitar Hero controller.
I'd like to hear what the music sounded like, you know, controlling that. Probably like Donnie Iris.
It's exactly like Donnie Iris or Careless Whisper, either one.
Can we put some Donnie Iris on? Is there a way to make that happen? I mean, I need to hear some Donnie Iris.
Well, we'll probably get a copyright claim if we do that.
Oh, you're right. It's on YouTube.
So, we'll be the first time.
Eric, you probably know all of his songs by heart, because I think, wasn't your band a Donnie Iris cover band?
Yep, I was in a Donnie Iris cover band.
Yeah, were you Donnie?
No, I was Ronnie Iris.
Okay.
That's a joke for the Pittsburgh local.
That's better than being Johnny Iris. Actually, was there a Ronnie Iris?
No, it was a joke. So the pants in that on there was a skit, a recurring skit on the morning show on WDVE.
Bish just took out the leader. Good work.
Ronnie Iris working at Pants in that was part of the sketch.
How did you learn so much about Pittsburgh, radio and bar band culture? Because you're not.
My girlfriend grew up in the midst of this in Eastern Ohio, basically in Pittsburgh. So.
Okay. Now that all makes sense, because I was going to say, you're culturally speaking, did not grow up in anything at all like Pittsburgh.
Eric, could you explain to our audience that may just be tuning in what exactly is happening right here?
So what is happening right here is we have this race that we call the Silly Hats Only No Pedal No Wheel Invitational. And basically it's open to anybody who does not have a traditional wheel and pedal set up to run iRacing. So we have all manner of weird stuff happening. We have a guy using a Guitar Hero controller. We have a guy who has strings tied to a racing helmet, and he turns his head to make the car move because it's all tied to an Xbox controller. God, what else do we have? We have some smattering of Xbox controllers. That's not super interesting. There's a couple of...
It's more interesting than some things.
Yep, Tom Pyrek there in the red Pontiac Solstice is riding a bicycle, and like on a trainer stand. Sam Goebel has a Mr. Bean setup where he's sitting in an easy chair. That was a really nice move, by the way, splitting the two crashed cars. Apparently, riding a bike gives you those kinds of reflexes.
I think a unicycle controller would be the next step.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of everything. Troy Frew using an Etch-a-Sketch.
Oh, wow, that was threading the needle right there. You know what? The needle will be back very soon, too. You'll thread it again, or maybe not. Maybe you'll hit the needle. Anyway, good to know, back to the more important subject matter here, how you came about all your inside knowledge of culture from Pittsburgh in the 1980s and 90s.
Yep. So,
you know,
like I said,
Dave Morrow of Morrow Racing, he's a Pittsburghian. Do they call it that? Pittsburghian or Pittsburghite?
Yinzer, I think, is
Yinzer,
what everybody else calls it.
Okay, it's fine, you know.
It's a derogatory term used by Eastern Pennsylvania.
Really, so you would not self-apply that term. It's like hipster, where no hipsters actually call themselves that.
It's kind of somewhere in between. There's a weird Pittsburgh accent that, Dawn Iris.
Youpers call themselves Youpers, even though it's kind of an insult.
Yeah, I'm not totally in tune with all the subtleties of Yinzer, but that was a good move there. That was classic Ted track move on the oval.
Oh, there goes someone's getting. Oh,
Bish has been bished.
Bish has been bished. That's right.
I like that he's bouncing over the wall and back and still getting.
You know we're going on board for that. Wow. Never lift. That. What on earth?
I couldn't find any Donnie Iris, so
Donnie Iris, was he into breakdancing? Because if so,
Donnie Iris has come back, right?
I would say Donnie Iris was one of the premier breakdancers of Pittsburgh back in the day. It was only when the knee replacement happened in 1994.
See ya.
Oh wow, into the woods.
See ya.
The drug bridge. So as they come into the drug bridge, actually, one thing we did at some of the races in Texas was we changed all of the names of all the features on the course to things having to do with gay culture of the 70s. So we're leaving the disco and going into the bathhouse. And that seemed to make Texans uncomfortable in a tingling sort of way, if you know what I'm saying.
It's Randy Bish going through the machine wash cycle there. And then breakdancing. The breakdancing's a nice touch.
Get down with your bad self.
I would say that the car seems to maintain a lot of its own sort of dancing momentum there. That is kind of breakdancing.
He never lifted. That's the best part. And then he takes out the 09 like, get out of my way, Garrett. Yeah.
It's an oval. I mean, you shouldn't lift.
Never.
When you're upside down, although generally you can't draw fuel from the tank when you're upside down. But in iRacing...
Well, you don't know diesels, apparently.
I guess not.
Could be like a model airplane where it has the clunk in the tank. You know, that's an option.
Is this the Studebaker from the Muppet movie here?
Oh, it is, isn't it? Good spot.
We've been trying to get somebody to get an actual Studebaker and do that car. I mean, they're very affordable. It turns out anything with 4 doors from 1946 through now, basically worthless. So, in fact, I just right now wrote about a 53 Packard Clipper, very nice condition, no rust, and the pick and pull. You know, that could have been your Lemon's car. So Studebakers also show up. Or you could turn your Chrysler 200 into one.
Pointing out that Randy Bish was not breakdancing, he was Bish dancing.
That's very true. Do we know anything about Hyatt? Do we know what he's operating with?
Hyatt and Ted Fort are real-life teammates with Xbox controllers who basically got into this as a grudge match. So they're 4th and 5th right now.
Yeah. Nice. They're only 13 seconds apart on the same lap.
Yep. They in real life they have a Mercedes W123 diesel that they rebodied with a Toyota Hilux body, and it looks like. Well, for a long time, it looked like the Pizza Planet truck from Toy Story.
Yes.
I mean, technically speaking, Toyota no longer used the Hilux name in North America, but just like the Volvo Amazon, we allow it.
I think my favorite part of this with Ian so far has been watching because he's a driver, is not wearing any clothing, so you could really see his arm movement, and that really makes for some entertainment. And
can you have a naked in iRacing? Oh, look at that! You're right.
Yeah, he does have either swimming trunks or boxer shorts on, but it does give
Why do they wear helmets since it's virtual racing? Because I guess it's harder to do faces, you know.
Well, because it's a simulation of real racing, and in real racing you wear a helmet.
But in this kind of racing, you can't die. Sorry, I was also watching from Troy Fru's perspective as he just got head on at about 180 miles an hour.
All right, let's check that out. We'll go back and watch it.
Troy Fru, by the way, in Photoshop made his signs look like they were taped on with clear tape, which is a nice touch.
Oh, that's good.
Stuff.
No, I thought that was my dog. Okay, it's at your end. Well, I have a cat that meows when I'm talking in my office because he thinks I'm talking to him, but he's actually asleep, so that's good.
Nice.
Excellent. Somebody says
Named Denver, of course.
Hilux, call it the truck. Yes, I'm aware.
Happy birthday, Dale Strimple. Happy birthday, Dale.
They called it the pickup.
Birthday.
It is his birthday, you're right. Toyota actually called it the pickup some years and the truck other years. And then Toyota and then Datsun and Mazda, like, well, we're going to call our trucks the truck too. So there were a lot of different trucks available. But they didn't actually have, disappointingly, they didn't have badges that said truck, which I've always been saddened by.
Looks like we're down to about a minute left here. 0 laps to go. I love it.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Looks like the Camaro has a pretty good edge on the field.
That's so lame to show up at this race with a Camaro.
Agreed.
I'm just going to go ahead and say that.
Can you disappear that car before it actually crosses the checkered line?
I can black flag him. I can black flag
just
him.
disappear him.
Just
Just open up a trap door in the track and have him drive into it. That would be
We
incredible.
can just have people park across the track. Be fine too.
So no black flag for Matt. Gotcha.
No. We'll let him
All right,
win.
all right.
We know the real glory is.
We're watching
is
you,
in-
Matt. Next time, no Camaro.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
so
Camaro out for this.
I would say Butter Churn might be my vote for IOE, lowercase IOE,
He's dead last, struggling a bit.
but he's driving.
He's also churning. But
Actually, the yarn,
Not
the string and broomstick control though that's also
he was. Brian
up
Trainer was in the top 6. He just got dumped by the butter churn right there. But
I mean, you
he's
win,
seven.
you win the iRacing IOE and it gets you absolutely nothing. But I mean, maybe I'll send you something I find in the junkyard.
That's a
I'll
good.
send you, you know what, the IOE winner from the next race, I will send you some porn that I found in a junkyard car. It's always porn in junkyard cars.
It's got to be high quality stuff.
Well, that's setting the bar a little higher than I like. Any porn in the junkyard, you're going to get what you get.
That's a good race winner starting the demo derby to end this race.
Yeah.
Very nicely done, Matt Sitko. I got to say, the butter churning butter for 44 minutes.
Is he actually churning butter? Is there?
No.
Unfortunately,
well,
not.
might as well fill it with. What do you churn to get butter? Cream, I guess.
Yes, cream.
Something from a cow.
Nice.
My Reuben
Yeah,
upbringing is
Excellent.
treating me wrong here,
Does
but
Eric stay on the gas here? Eric Hesser.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he never
Yeah.
lifted. Never lifted.
yeah. I think it would
The new tradition post-race
Those
demo
fast
derby.
hands. Look at how quick you can work those. Yeah, that's the.
Oh.
Right, something bad happened. All right, yeah. It's weird how the perspective rotates at a different rate than the car.
It's a gyro cam.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
That's what that is. Yeah, that's the gyro cam. That was
Okay.
incredible. Yeah. Oh,
Donnie Iris, definitely. Well, it could be worse. You could be Great White.
are we needing to mosey on over to the next one, Eric, or how are we looking?
Don't set off the pyrotechnics. I'm just saying.
Right.
No, we should hang out here for a minute.
Okay.
I'm eating tacos while all this.
Oh yeah,
Just stay
yeah.
tuned.
I was hoping to. Oh wow. Wow. I think it's time for a
That's
seat
a
at
good
cam.
air.
There we go. Let's see what we can get. That's incredible. Oh, they found each other. I was wondering. Oh wow.
International struggles of our world may lead to nuclear holocaust.
And how?
Oof.
Oh, my
Wow.
goodness.
Randy is hauling ass.
Oh, how many G's do you think head on into the wall at miles
if he had telemetry running, I could actually tell you that if Randy had
I'd
telemetry.
say
Yeah.
about 200.
I would
think
say a lot. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, we might be getting to the point of compressing atomic nuclei enough to initiate fusion. Oh, he just hit nothing and flipped, or was there another car that we couldn't see there?
I'm not sure.
Or was that Ronnie Iris coming up out of the ground?
See if we can see
So
what
does
happened there.
Pittsburgh have a signature mixed drink? Like, I don't know,
Oh, it does.
pond water and Everclear?
He
Hold on
hit
one second.
he hit a car that was resetting. That was interesting. He got sucked into the abyss and shot out rapidly. Shout out to
So, Eric,
Nemesis
you were-
Lab for being in the chat but not being in the broadcast.
Oh, my, that's a good jump. Eric, you were going to tell us about the signature drink of Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah,
which
sorry.
I imagine it involves stump water, right?
It's some kind of punch. I don't remember exactly what it's called.
Something that you drink out of a garbage can in a cornfield.
Yeah,
No, that would be
it's
in Illinois, I guess.
Yeah.
Do they have corn? Do they grow anything in around Pittsburgh? Probably not, because it's all Superfund site, I
It's
believe.
mostly hilly.
Yeah, okay.
The drink is called Super Punch, apparently, and it is
I mean,
of my lord-
Super Punch.
Super Punch. Yeah.
My view of Pittsburgh is quite positive, just because Dave Morrow comes from there, and it's like, man, if it produced Dave Morrow, it must be a pretty good place, because Dave's one of my favorite Lemons racers. He alternates between hating me and tolerating me, because I give him these terrible suggestions and he does them, and then he gets burned horribly. I mean, he's not the only one, but he did the twin engine 1,000 cubic inch Cadillac Eldorado, and he knew it was a spectacularly terrible idea. But he also knew that he was one of the only guys with the chops to make it happen, and he did, and it was really horrible. He wouldn't talk to me for quite a while after that.
Yeah.
I felt kind of bad, but it was an awesome car, so there you go.
Miata Bro. That is a really good livery, I gotta say.
It is, yeah.
I appreciate that. I don't know what the Honda Hope thing is, but looking good. That's Tyler Stank, by the way, who is driving with Flight Sim controls. Yep.
You know, it would be a nice addition to iRacing if you could be a spectator and throw kitchen appliances onto the track. That's always been a dream of mine for racing. Is like you pay $10, you get a microwave oven, or a toaster oven for $5, let's say, or like a bread machine. You get a bread maker for Christmas and you never use it. Throw it on the track.
Phil, this is an amazing idea, and sometime when we start our Demolition Derby series, that's gonna have to be part of it.
Well, no, that would be Lemons Russia.
Lemon Slovenia.
Well, I had an idea, for example, how to make baseball more interesting. A single cinder block can be placed in the outfield. And then that way outfielders can randomly trip over the cinder block. Just, one cinder block. The other idea I had...
Does the opposing team get to place where it is in the outfield, like in between innings?
No, I think it's like a lottery where a randomly chosen fan gets to. But, but it stays that way for both teams. But the other idea I had, how about this? Basketball, where you've got a freeway running down the middle of the basketball court, and then 45-degree angle floors going up to the basket. So you have to run uphill, and the basketball, if it gets loose, goes back to the freeway. So cars on the freeway go into a tunnel and have a brief moment in a basketball game and then keep going, unless they hit a player, in which case it's more dramatic.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, this has a lot to do with racing, and I'll continue on this vein. In this vein,
I think the tossing appliances onto a circle track has some potential. Not gonna lie.
yeah. Well, I mean, you pay more, so it's a revenue source. So, like, you go to it'd be like a concession stand. It's like, fine, you get a blender that's like $6. Blenders aren't very big. But say you want to have like a dorm fridge. That's like $50 because that's. And then, like, you and your friends can all kind of pull together and get, like, a chest freezer. You hurl it over the fence. I mean, racing would be way better with that sort of thing. And actually, you could do it in virtual racing because there's not even any death. Yeah.
I like it.
Reminds me of the time that, speaking of death, we were when we had the Lemons corporate retreat in Jamaica. A friend of Jay's has a place in Jamaica, and we were there, and they have a track there that we thought, well, we could race there because we had a Houston team that ran a shipping operation. They say, yeah, we'll barge all the cars over, and we can go to this track. It turned out to be logistically possible, but then we went to go look at the track. I forget what it's called. We had a team from Jamaica race in South Carolina, and told them about the idea that we might have raced there. Like, oh man, I don't know. Seriously, there's like people dumping wash water out second-story windows onto the racetrack. There's like donkey carts coming across the track, and there's I don't know if you'd call it K-walls, more like railroad tracks up on concrete barriers set up to spear oncoming cars. I mean, I would definitely pay to spectate these races, but putting on one of these races, I would feel sad about a 20% mortality race, so we didn't do it.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because Darren Lenhart, a Lemons Rally guy, the guy who did the Duke of New York car. He was actually talking about turning that car into a Lemons car, and I'm all for it, into a race car. So he had been to Jamaica for some reason, for work or something in January or December, and ended up at that racetrack and was like, would you ever run here? And I was like, let me tell you a story. We could have done it. I mean, that was the thing. We had that we could have taken him out of Port of Houston, and it would have been like $20 a car to get him to this track. But the nearest hospital, it was essentially like a guy in a parking lot, who basically he's a large animal vet, but people are pretty big animals, so he figured, okay, it would have been pretty ugly. I mean, the Jamaican team that we had in South Carolina, like, they all grew up racing on that track, and they were kind of for it, but they were also kind of afraid of the idea of doing lemons there, because generally they don't like to have more than a handful of cars on that course. Fair enough. Should point out that we are in the final warm-up for our next race. Oh, the All Solstice race? The All Solstice race. Looks like we got 31?
No, it's 31. Robert Keller, the Brickmobile. They have a Mustang in real life with a big wing that has quite a complex history in their region that I every time I go to the race that he is racing at, I guess I'm expected to know the small details of that class of racing in, I'm not even going to mention the state because it's one of those states where if you mix it up with a neighboring state, they kill you. Mm-hmm. But anyway, it's a wing with a lot of history on that Mustang. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Is that Little Bits? Is that a Pickle Rick thing?
Is Little Bits a cereal?
That looks vaguely Rick and Morty-ish, which I don't know anything about.
I don't even know what that is.
I'm guilty too. I'm not sure, to be honest.
I'm culturally pretty illiterate, unless it comes to Eastern European dictators, in which case I'm quite literate.
Looks like some fantastic liveries, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, people have been doing a good job with this.
Is that Doonesbury?
Hunter S. Thompson Speedway.
Well, it's the Raoul Duke kind of Doonesbury version of Hunter Thompson, which is kind of like a rated PG version of Hunter Thompson.
Hunter Thompson Speedway is fantastic.
That is
A+ for you, Scott.
And I gotta say, much as I like a lot of Hunter Thompson's work, Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail, incredible work of journalism. Really, you people who worship Hunter Thompson should be reading goddamn Joan Didion, so get started, all right? That's all I have to say on the subject.
Mm-hmm. Oof.
Okay.
Oof.
So much better overall than Hunter Thompson, except for the couple of brief moments when his brain wasn't so addled by fucking drugs that he couldn't function. All right, sorry, go back.
Team Bear Pope. I like that.
Wow, is that a thing that they made up, or is that like a cultural thing that I'm not aware of?
I hope that's something he's made up.
Good. Bear Pope. It looks like he has a giant spleef, too, which I like.
And a grenade?
I think this is actually more solstices in one place than has ever existed.
Including at the Pontiac factory or dealership.
Right,
yep.
Right.
I see them in pick and pull all the time now, so I would have to say that if you ever wanted a solstice, or I would get the Saturn Sky just because I'm a rebel, I'd say now's the time.
Oh, Belcher Racing.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
Fun solstice story I have for you. I have a friend of mine who does, his name is Chuck Mallet. I don't know if you've heard of him. He does Mallet cars. He took a Solstice and put a 500 cubic inch LS motor in it, and it's ridiculous.
Like a good plan.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say 500 cubic inch Cadillac motor would be far superior.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know. Craziness.
Well,
I saw a face on a car. I want to figure out who that is. Oh,
when the Solstice first came out,
Turtle
we were
wax.
all very excited. Oh, that's good. We were all
That's
very
great.
excited because like finally Detroit's going to get it right. But it turns out the Solstice was not quite as superior as some might have expected.
It looked like his dog on the side of the car. Festivus for the rest of us. Rest in peace, Jerry Stiller. I appreciate that one. That's
You know, I still
better.
have never seen Seinfeld at all, but I've heard enough references to it in Lemons races that I'm passing familiarity with it. So
I
should point out
would
that
recommend
all of
checking
these
that out.
Solstices are on the same baseline setup that is not in any way meant to be on an oval. So, and the gearing's also terrible.
good.
This is pretty much the worst car ever to drive on this, and it's butt slow also.
If they
Fantastic
had
work.
the Dodge Dynasty, I'm just going to say, and I'm going to take this opportunity to put out my call once again for the car that looks like the giant root vegetable at a real Lemons race. You have time, people. We're sitting here in a COVID-19 apocalypse. You have time to actually build that giant armature around your car and make a rutabaga, a turnip. If you really want to be aerodynamic, fine, I'll accept a carrot. But really, I'm thinking more of a potato shape or a yam shape. Just putting that out there. You do that, and if it's recognizable as that vegetable all the way across a big racetrack, like Thunder Hill, you're going to win all the trophies.
5PD5TR in the YouTube chat asking, how about South American dictators, Phil?
Well, I got to say, Alfred Stroessner, and you'd think that sounds like a European dictator. He's actually the Paraguayan dictator. He actually, pound for pound, was as brutal as any of the Eastern European dictators. So, right, I'm going to say South American dictators. Let's talk about it. Although Central American dictators too, can't really write them off either.
Mm-hmm.
But Stroessner, I mean, just the name, doesn't that sound like the name for a serious dictator? Yeah, he actually, I believe he died, was never overthrown.
Looks like about to get underway. There's going to be a race. A very slow and poorly handling one. Alan Kmeyer in the Turtle Wax car races a Porsche Boxster with an inflatable poo on the roof of it. Should point that out. Who else we got in this race? Amanda Tully, 3-time race winner.
Oh, that's good to have.
Brett Sloman, Carl Lynn with the Smudge the Cat meme on the car. Looking good.
Is that a meme? Because Mike Taylor, the Hong North racer, had a dog, a much loved dog that would come to Lemons races named Smudge. Rest in peace, Smudge. Smudge was a hell of a dog. He was really good at barking during the awards ceremonies, like at good moments though, not constantly. Just he would add his 2 cents.
I like it. ACR Speed asking if Solstices are actually that bad to drive. Yes. The answer is yes.
I haven't driven one, but I gotta say, my money would be on yes, bad to drive.
It was the rookie road car when I started iRacing back in 2008, and actually I have a lot of laps in Solstice, and it's actually not bad. It's
okay. That's
it's like
not the same as a real Solstice, though.
No. I thought they were talking about here on iRacing, but yeah, in real life, yeah.
The platonic ideal of the Solstice, and I'm talking about the real world Solstice, which is sort of like waking up in a dumpster.
Yes.
Ever woken up in a dumpster? I'll tell you, because of me, a dude woke up in a dumpster. When I was living in the trailer park on campus when I was in college, I had a guy projectile vomit all over my trailer where I was living and then pass out. It's like, and not clean up the vomit. So I carried him out and arranged him in the dumpster that we had so that the rising Southern California sun would be in his eyes when he came awake in the dumpster. And that's what I think Solstice life is.
That's very thoughtful.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
This guy never forgave me for that too. I don't know why he felt like I had done something wrong. Like I was the bad guy. And I said, did I projectile vomit in your trailer? No, I did not. All I did was put you in a dumpster. I would say that, if we're balancing those on the scales of justice, that his crime was far worse than mine, which wasn't even a crime.
Let's call turns 3 and 4 waking up in a dumpster. Let's call it that.
I still want the drug bridge. Which one are we going to call the drug bridge?
Drug bridge will be 1 and 2. There's Jerry Stiller on that car as well.
I have to imagine that the drugs available at the Nelson Ledges drug bridge when it was the gathering of the Juggalos, not your high-end drugs. I'm thinking drugs that you can make yourself, like from stuff you can shoplift at Walmart.
Toilet wine and so forth on the cheap end.
Well, yeah.
Awkward silence right there. Matthew Gay.
I was just pouring another shot of scotch. Bribe scotch, by the way. In my 24 Hours of Lemons 2009 CMP commemorative shot class.
Three Pedal Mafia pointing out that their lemon solstice is awful in real life. Pig heavy, awful visibility, tractor-like drivetrain, small gas tank, difficult to work on.
I'm just going to say what every employee of Car and Driver, except me when I worked there, has written about that car. Detroit is back. I mean, the thing is, like, there's a lot of conspiracy talk about, well, these journalists write about cars like they hate America. They wipe their ass on the American flag. In fact, all of us are desperate to write good things about American cars. We love America. We love American cars. But I got to say, it gets hard sometimes. It gets difficult sometimes, to write the good things about a few of these cars. Like, I'm just going to say, my Prowler's in the shop right now, but it's not the greatest car ever made.
This is a replay of the wreck that has brought out our caution that we're under caution right now. I just wanted to
go to caution here?
I want to make sure everybody. Does
the caution flag change anything in an iRacing race?
It just resets the field.
Everyone,
so the driver behavior does not change.
No, of course not.
Okay.
Oof.
Oh, that was an impressive accident. I love the driving, smashing it into reverse, and trying the Rockford turn in the middle of 20 cars. Not a good idea.
I think these spectators have all been to the drug bridge.
No doubt.
Well, that was a crash coming out of waking up in a dumpster that went all the way to the drug bridge.
All right, so have we named all the corners now? All four of them? Actually,
well, it's kind of. You kind of put them in one end, is how I'm looking at it. Lots of cars suddenly broken on pit lane.
I think we should name that. The pit lane should be the Alfred Stroessner Memorial Pit Lane.
We could do that.
Not to be confused with Alfred Packer, the Colorado Cannibal. We had a stencil at one of the races, the bribe stencil after the Colorado Cannibal. So California, because it's much bigger and more powerful and influential than Colorado, sure, you've got the Donner Party, but Colorado had a cannibal too. It was this guy who ate the rest of his exploring party and then retreated to Wyoming. And the guys that, what's their names? The guys that did South Park, which I've also never watched except for the Casa Bonita one. They actually did a musical about this guy. So it's very
Trey Parker, Matt Stone, yeah.
Yeah, those guys, yeah. So
the Book of Mormon, is that what you're talking about?
Well, I mean, no. Their very first thing they ever did before they were famous.
Sorry.
Was a musical called Cannibal.
Cannibal the musical, yeah.
Which
Cannibal
actually still gets performed by seriously paint-huffing theater production companies in Colorado, where you have an audience of 9 people, and it's pretty excellent. I mean, there's songs. It's inspiring. The Donner Party gets all the press, because it's California, but Colorado had its own cannibalism, and it was respectable cannibalism, and Alfred Packer.
None of that cheap cannibalism.
Well, I mean, the Donner Party, actually, one thing I do like is that at Donner Summit on I-80 in California, they have a little cafe there that sells Donner burgers. And I hope they're made with Spam, because apparently Spam is the closest approximation of the taste of human flesh that you will encounter in this life. So you can actually... I'm hoping they're made of Spam so they taste like human flesh.
Man, that is the fanciest graphic I could ever imagine being on a Lemon's anything.
Well,
look at that.
Thank you.
It's like a blinking.
Did you make that, Ryan?
I did.
That's utterly amazing.
Thank you.
It's like your press pass for...
And the green flag is back. It is like a press pass, and there's one for track information.
So have you actually been to one of those press events where they give you that thing and you lose it right away?
Yeah. Actually, and there's also one for the weather too. It's incredible.
I was trying to trade my pass with a female journalist so that it's really confusing to everybody, and I always enjoy doing that. The Germans get very upset about that when that is not your name.
I always spill shrimp sauce on mine. That's what I always end up doing.
Ooh.
Look at Mark Johns and Brett Sloman battling for position. They are real life teammates.
Well,
I think Brett got dumped somewhere.
In real life, they're good drivers, and I always appreciate their poor choice of racing machines.
Randy Bish in this race.
I still owe those guys. I still owe Mark an IOE for the Mazda 66. That was one of those. The Brainerd race was one of those deals where the IOE just got torn out of my hands by that horrible duster. It had to happen.
Yep, I like the beer pong car there, Carl Kooks. Let's say Kooks.
Oh. So apparently there's a big industry in the UK for people that want to have American parties where you have to have red Solo Cups. So you can buy it's like American flags and guns, and red Solo Cups is what American parties are like in the UK.
There's the Paddock Videographer. Preparation H for your butt hurt.
Oh, nice.
Do you take it too seriously, this?
That's a good SCCA theme, actually. Although the theme at CMP where they came and registered official complaints every 15 minutes was a good one.
Jeff Wakeman pointing out that Three Pedal Mafia can also confirm the taste of Spam is close to human. Oh, wait, this is public forum. So.
Well, they had the, I believe it was the gray processed meat theme for a while.
Yeah, God, what do they call that? Scrapple? Is it
Scrapple?
Yeah.
What is Scrapple? It's the stuff that you can't even make head cheese out of. It's too horrible even for head cheese.
It's like hot dogs, the breakfast food.
Well, hot dogs are made of... Okay, so hot dogs you make from... You get a snow shovel and you scrape up the stuff on the slaughterhouse floor. Apparently, Scrapple is made from the stuff that collects in the drains in the slaughterhouse.
There you go.
Yeah, it is distinctly gray, I gotta say.
Solidifies.
Well, if you're going to eat seriously processed meat, I don't think you should mess around. Get a Donner burger and then chase it with some Scrapple.
What if they made Donner burgers out of Scrapple?
I've actually eaten a lot of Three Pedal Mafia food, and I'm still alive, so it's fine.
If you've eaten much Lemon's food at all, you're probably going to be okay. Your cholesterol is probably unhealthily awful, but...
Some of these races, I actually bring microwavable brown rice to eat the thing that's least like track food possible while I'm there. And I'll microwave and I'll eat some plain brown rice, then I'll go back to eating track food, which includes the clear plastic barrels of cheese balls.
Staple. That's staple foods, right?
Well, as I often say, the reason it's so popular, part of it is you can eat it with nasty, filthy, engine swappy hands, but then when you've emptied the barrel of your cheese balls, you can put nuts and bolts in the barrel and see what's in it.
There you go. It looks like an STP or an STD theme. Both are interchangeable in Lemons usually.
I think that the rate of STDs is no higher in Lemons than in the world at large.
I was just saying the graphic is usually modified, but also that. Ooh, that's a good zebra stripe.
That's pretty radical.
Nate Schlevine there? What does it say on the...
It's hard to say because it's got dazzle camouflage like a...
Yeah. It says dazzle something.
Oh, I think it's a test mule, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I bet those 5 photographers were killing each other to get shots of the test mule for the Solstice. Like, this is going to be... People will be talking about the Solstice for 50 years, like a Mercedes 300 SL. You've got to have one.
The Dazzle Camel.
Dazzle Camel. I like it.
I keep thinking I really want to have a special rally with nothing but front-wheel drive General Motors products of the 1990s.
I think that would be great.
We go to closed GM plants around the country. We start off, well, the Tesla plant was a GM plant. We could start off there, even though it's not really closed, although that may change. And then head over the mountains, and then start hitting some of the plants, like I guess St. Louis, some of those plants, Janesville, things like that. What's the one with the Lordstown, the Vega plant?
Lordstown is almost Yinzer territory. That's on the border of PA in Ohio.
Well, Lordstown was explicitly built to bust the unions. I mean, the idea was that you could actually physically do the layout of an automobile plant where unions would somehow be magically destroyed, because that was something management has always wanted to do. And the result of that was the Vega. And I have to say, I can't get any more trouble with the Vega fanatics. They already hate me a lot. I get Vega hate mail out of nowhere sometimes. It's like, you continue to talk about the Vega like it was not a great car. It's like, well, and by the way, I just learned something. So, are you familiar with the manual shifted power glide that was the cheapest transmission you get in the Vega when it was new? No. Torque drive, I think it was called. Okay, so they were already set up to make power glides, and the power glide was kind of going out in the late 60s, early 70s. And GM decided, well, if we took out the ability to have it shift itself, we could make the power glide for $1.14 less. Right. And so they made this. So they made a full manual power glide. If you put it in second, you were in second. You'd start out in second. If you put it in first, actually, it was a DL. So you put it in L, you were in first. Put it in D, you were in second. And it was the cheapest transmission that wasn't the factory 4-speed in the Vega. And they'd only sold a few tens of thousands of these things. I think you get it in the Nova as well. But it's such a GM kind of a transmission. I'd love to see one in Lemons. So imagine a power glide that doesn't even shift by itself. Apparently they were sturdy. But yes, I think it was the torque drive is what they called it.
It was originally something with 4 moving parts, and then it had 3. So
to take out the automatic shifting ability from the power glide, I mean, you still got the torque converter and all that, so you don't have to actually put it in. You don't have to push a clutch pedal down. So let's say your Yinzers have had, what's the beer they drink there? Is that Rolling Rock or is that something else?
Yingling.
Yingling. Oh God, people whenever we go to the East Coast to race, people give me Yingling like it's this magical taste experience. It's like, well, it's remember they used to have
old style.
They used to have Brew 102 when I lived in Southern California. They stopped making it in like the late 80s. It's the same kind of thing. It's like the watery yellow beer that you can get for a little less because they put it in 11-ounce cans. So you're never going to notice that 1 ounce, right? Like Lucky Lager. Am I the only one here who remembers Lucky Lager? I don't know if that was a national thing. Lucky Lager had rebuses in the bottle caps, and they were 11-ounce bottles, so you felt like you were getting a real good deal.
Yeah. I know Cincinnati had, what do they call them? Little Kings, which were like...
Oh, Little Kings. Actually, you can get those. When I went to Seattle for the first time in 1991, I actually put a bottle of Little Kings on Jimi Hendrix's grave, the original one, not the new the new High Zoot one that Paul Allen put up, because that was what I could pick up at the liquor store right nearby.
Man, Slowman got yeeted again.
Kings, which I'm sure the graveyard attendants drank.
Full yeet.
It's like a full yeet?
Right here.
Here we go.
Oh, man. He ate it into waking up in a dumpster.
Yeah. How can you tell waking up in a dumpster from the drug bridge in this track?
You gotta look at where the pit lane is. If there's no pit lane on the straight, it's you're headed into waking up in a dumpster. If the pit lane is before the turn, then it's the drug bridge.
So
we're on board. Yeah.
Yingling's as good as any other beer once you've had 11 of them. Yeah. It's not a bad beer.
This is Matt Gain in the drug bridge. Not using magnets, as you don't do, if you don't understand how they work. And now he's waking up in a dumpster.
Science is really hard, especially if you're Violent J.
Yes.
Actually, we in Lemons admire Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J. We admire the guys of the Insane Clown Posse. I mean, I have to say, like, Violent J is the brains of the outfit. But we have an open invitation at any time. If either one of those guys wants to judge in one of our races, they are welcome to be chief judge of a race. I mean, whatever they decide is going to happen with penalties and all that, that's fine. So I'm going to put it out there right now.
What?
Violent J, Shaggy 2 Dope.
For a second. No.
We've made an offer for Violent J or Shaggy 2 Dope to be chief justice of any given Lemons race if they so choose.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Bird up for life, minimal camber adjustments.
Miscreants should be buried alive. That's what we're going to do.
Yep, bird up for life, asking, can you set the camber on these? In most of the other races, yes. This is a fixed setup, which is just whatever the default is, so totally not meant for this at all.
iRacing lets you set up stuff like camber.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Can you kind of set up pre-worn out ball joints and stuff?
We probably should have arranged that and do some testing on what will feel most authentic for.
Can we have the repo man show up and take your prowler? Oh man, that's my prowler on the hook.
Oh man.
By the way, I have to say budget exemption. If you didn't already know that, anybody who wants to raise a Plymouth Prowler and lemons, I don't care how much you spend on your prowler, and if you put a potato around it, even better.
It would be a great carrot car. I'm just gonna put that out there.
I see the comment on YouTube. You could drink 10 Yinlings and not have a hangover. That's because it's drinking water. I mean, come on now.
Shout to you, Judge Phil from Sydney, Australia, from Chris Walker.
Well, Chris and I go way back to about 10 seconds ago.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, I see Steph Schrader is here. Steph, you daily driving a bathtub Nash these days, I assume?
Low blow, man.
I was uncalled for. Steph is actually she was a journalism major at Baylor and was coming to Lemons races as MSR, and the evil, malign influence of Lemons led her to become an automotive journalist. I believe that's a decision she has come to regret, because it turns out this is the least intelligent profession that humanity has ever devised, and every year doing it takes 10 points off your IQ. In my case, that means I'm well below zero.
Well, that's how Jay ended up starting Lemons. Was his IQ had eroded after years of doing.
He was born in bad shape there because his dad was an automotive journalist too, and Mike Lamb. Mike's actually a great guy. He comes to Lemons races in California. I always enjoy reading his stuff. He still writes for Hemmings. I don't know how much they're paying him. One of the best things about Mike, though, is that like his buddies, Chubba Chetta and Tony Swan and all that, they would call him up and complain if we were being too mean to him at a race. Then he would call his son, and Jay would say, I want you to redouble the cruelty. I want you to be even more cruel because my dad wants you to be nice to him. So I think a little family politics there. Mike's a real nice guy, though. I mean, unlike most automotive journalists, when they get older, he doesn't get meaner.
And how? Journalism profession.
Well, could be worse. Like I knew a guy who worked at the managing the Blue Pond at the Porta Potty facility. He wasn't managing it. I'll tell you why. I know he wasn't managing it. So his job was he would go out with a big stick, like a 20-foot long pole, and there was a catwalk across the Blue Pond, and his job was, I believe it was to poke the methane bubbles in the Blue Pond and break them up, right? So one time he's poking with his stick, and then it catches on something, like an extra grippy sort of bowel movement down there, and he falls into the Blue Pond. And thank God he ends up feet first. He ends up like chest high in the Blue Pond water. I mean, it's, you've been to the porta potty, you see that blue stuff in there. It's the same stuff on the airplanes too. And so he crawls out, and he's trying to scrape off the stuff as well as he can. And he tells his boss, like, I gotta go home and change because I fell into the pond. He's like, you still got 7 hours on the clock, son. You got to finish your shift. If you fall in the Blue Pond, that doesn't matter. And he's like, so he got fired.
Our leader just got his first incident, I think. Yes, he did.
So we were tracking
Speaking of the Blue Pond.
Yeah. Speaking of Blue Pond, So right now, Kevin Moebs here in the 000 has no incidents. The only driver on the track with no incidents.
What's the livery? Is that just
some kind of anime thing? It's probably a bunch of hentai that we shouldn't ever zoom in anywhere near.
Oh,
it's okay.
Right.
It looks like nothing indecent. I was looking in practice. It doesn't look too bad.
Well, in Japan, people have given me enough Japanese porn as bribes. They actually have to black out all the real porny stuff. They have like a circle over it, so it's safe if it's actually Japanese.
Right.
As long as you're not churning butter.
Mark Johns in the 626. We've spoke a lot about him in previous broadcasts. He only has 3 incidents.
Hey. As he probably dumped somebody here.
Oh, here it is.
Yep.
Yep. Up to 7 now. Okay. Let's see who else's race can we ruin. Let's stick with the 000 and see if we can get him an incident because he still has 0. Also, Jordan Teal running in 2nd place has only 3 incidents in the Hot Wheels machine. Oh, well,
and he just
make that 5. Okay, let's go back here and see if we can make it. Someone's got to be making it their mission, right, to make sure everybody has at least 1 incident. So. But on the opposite side of that spectrum, shout out to Perry
Charletta
with 34 incidents.
That's
Brett
lower than
Sloman,
I thought it might be.
Brett Sloman with 37. Theodore Fort with 36. Robert Keller with 35. I'm very proud of all of you.
You guys are doing great. You're doing the Lord's work.
That's right. 36 for Jim Wright. Fantastic. And we're still 0 here. I'm hoping that the Solo Cup beer pong. Yeah, hopefully somebody's going to help us out here.
So, you know what we haven't seen yet in all the liveries is no one's done the Vermin Supreme one yet.
Oh, man.
Vermin is the only presidential candidate explicitly endorsed by the 24 Hours of Lemons. He is our chosen candidate in any election. Dog catcher, whatever, city council. Vermin Supreme all the way.
That's right. He's
Because he
been to
judged
lemon
for it.
race. Yeah, he
Yeah.
even...
Oh,
He brought his giant toothbrush.
it's got to happen, right? I mean,
And I was
wow.
asking him how he would enforce the mandatory toothbrushing. He was talking about toothbrush death squads and all. I'm on board with all that. I really, pretty much across the board, agree with everything Vermin Supreme says about how this country ought to be run. Free
Agreed.
ponies for everybody. So anyway, he is the Lemons officially endorsed presidential candidate. Vote Vermin.
It's important to have one of those.
Yeah.
Still
It's
zero.
like having a New York Times endorsement, basically. Same kind
This
of deal.
is
Oh,
the
look at this. I just got
broadcaster's
a
curse
text from-
should come through. I'm waiting
I
for
just
it.
got a text from Shaggy 2 Dope. He says he'll be judging the next Lemons race that happens and working the gate. So we're gonna have
Wow.
Shaggy 2 Dope at the gate. He'll be deciding who comes in and who doesn't come in.
Fantastic. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Steph, that's a good point. Where the hell is a Fago livery? Why have we not seen one?
It's been a while. We've had some real life ones.
We've had actual Fago at races, but I don't know if that was theme related. Well, we had themes. We had ICP themes that brought Fago, but we've seen teams voluntarily drinking Fago. By the way, you can get Fago in California. I mean, it's become a nationwide phenomenon.
Yeah, I see it here in North Carolina.
In fact, from what I understand, the only soft drink that's available in Antarctica is Fago.
Wow.
And you can't verify that, can you? You can't
Come
possibly
on.
do it in time to come back.
5 laps
Does
to
that mean
go.
Does that mean all the scientists in
drink
Antarctica
Fago.
are ninjas? Is that what that means?
Pretty much, yeah.
They're
Well, Shaggy T Dope actually controls access to the South Pole.
Man, you're talking about a real deep state.
Yeah, I know.
No way is he getting out of here with
You
no
know, this is
incidents.
what real racing announcers talk about.
It is. You know, there's a race going on or something.
I don't think there's
we
5
got
laps
5
to go. I
laps
think
to
there's
go.
like 1 lap to go, actually.
You're right.
Yeah, it's 3, 2, 1. Time has elapsed. I'm
So what are
really.
we seeing?
I'm waiting to see if the 000 gets an incident. He still has 0 as he takes the checkered flag.
0
Well, I
points.
guess he
Well
gets-
done, Kevin.
he
Wow.
gets
Wow,
to set this
Kevin.
choice.
Yeah, we're giving you screen time here, Kevin. Congratulations. Our winner tonight was Matthew Gain. He did a fantastic job. Only got a 4X, and we got to see that.
Yep.
Jordan Teal, I believe we got to see him increase his incident count as well. So fantastic job.
Ted Fort ends with the high points. High point.
Oh, really?
46.
42.
Well, Ted, if you're
46.
listening,
Oh, yeah, 42
to
at the end of
have
the
you
race. Yeah.
Ted's one of our old-time favorite Lemons theme appliers.
Indeed.
So I'm kind of
Yeah,
curious.
Johans also.
Looking at the YouTube chat, Chrissy Matura, who's judged for us on many occasions from Three Pedal Mafia, has a retracted message. I bet she was actually saying something positive about Shaggy 2 Dope. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And then realized, well, maybe we don't want to encourage Shaggy to run one of our races. In fact, turns out he's already going to run one of our races.
it's like,
I mean, not-
Ted
and by
Fort
run, I
on
mean,
Time for a
Albert
trip to the snack bar. Oh,
That's right. That's
That's
right.
the
This is annual post-race debauchery demo derby. Head to the
The
Brook
smoke-
Bridge.
The smoke should involve more pieces of connecting rods. I'm just saying.
here we go.
Looks like a good send lined up here.
Here we go. Ooh.
Press F for everybody involved in that one.
Yeah. Oh, man.
All right. Well, that was a whole bunch of solstices on a small oval.
35 of them. Yes.
35. We were hoping for more, but
Three cars finished on the lead lap. 4th place was 1 lap down. Oh, here, I'll just do this. There. Read. Yeah, there you go.
Look at
It's
that.
way too complicated for me.
Look at that.
The top three
Sam
on the lead
Goebel
lap.
finishing 7th. Hey, that's a pretty good outing for Sagi. Well done.
Nice.
Nate,
Bish,
race 1 winner.
Bishing his way into the top 10. Nice job, Randy.
That's right.
I'm wondering if he continued to use the pedal setup. I don't think he looked like he changed his driving.
Yeah.
Yep, that's great.
I think you can manage your silly hats only setup and make it work in the other ones.
It's
I think
fantastic.
we're learning that. That's what we're learning. That's what we're learning here today. It's like Jerry Springer's final moment.
So I've seen that you can choose your region. Can you choose like American Samoa or something, or does it have to be?
Yeah. There's lots of clubs all over the planet.
I have to join a club.
No, it's
Can you
just
start
they
a
put you in the club when you join.
They
It's
put
like
you in the club.
it's like a cult. You don't have a choice.
It's like the army.
Yes, exactly.
'Cause I
Buttermore,
would definitely want to be in the.
from my home state of Illinois.
That's
Getting
right.
it done tonight.
Might as well. I don't think he actually took the start. Nor
No,
did
he
Brandon
didn't.
Moore.
But I still like the fact that he's on there, and his name is Buttermore. That's great.
Also,
we churned
apologies
more
to
butter. Yes.
Apologies to Carl Lynn, who accidentally got booted when our chief steward sneezed at the wrong moment with his finger over the wrong key.
A mosquito
Well, that
landed
won't-
on his mouse, is what he said.
That won't happen in a real race, but that's fine. We should give him a prize for that. A
Absolutely.
virtual prize.
Yeah,
Kevin
sorry,
Meeb's
Carl.
getting his incident points in after the race. Much appreciated.
We
there.
can pull Carl. We can pull Carl into the booth and ask him how he feels
let's do
about
it.
getting removed from the race.
If he's available.
He's
let's do
There
it.
he is. All right, let's
Hey,
go.
hey, Carl, you're in the booth. How you doing?
Carl, this
are
is
you-
Judge Phil. I'd like to hear from you if you'd like to tell something about your experience.
He probably rage quit.
Yeah. Well, then he's.
All right. Well, sorry, Carl. We're all sorry.
Let's see who else we can grab.
How do we know whose microphone actually works? That's the problem.
Most of them should. Let's see. Matthew Gain, is he there? No.
I mean, I think a lot of them have like tin cans with strings, though, because that would be the lemon's way.
That's what we're
Let's
expecting.
talk to our high point man, Ted Fort, see if he's
All right.
Ted should be around.
It's a pandemic for a reason.
Yeah, that's right, Ted. Ted, goddamn right.
Hey, Ted, you're in the booth. How's it going, buddy?
You've got dozens of listeners now.
I cannot complain. How are y'all?
Wow, are you actually using the tin can with a string on it for your microphone? We were just talking about that.
I'm using a 15-year-old webcam microphone.
It's the quality is inescapable.
yeah.
It must be a
Fantastic.
Logitech. Fantastic.
Yeah.
That is the Logitech Orbit MP, only the best.
Shit's
So,
getting way too complicated for me.
That's former President Barack Obama.
So how was both of your races this evening? You managed to find your way into both of them. How'd that work out for you? You set the high point total for incidents, so well done in the second race.
The second race, I'd like to thank my sponsors first and foremost, but I could have raced cleaner out there. I got to be honest. Probably turned right a little bit more than I should have.
I gotta stuff some towels between my headphones and the sounding tab right now.
Yeah, well, R.I.P. everybody's ears. We'll let Ted go back and deafen everybody else in the race
Anyway.
for a while.
Thank you for your time, Ted. Congratulations on
I
you're
hope to see you
the. Is there a reward for the most incidents? I feel like there should be.
Yeah, we could do that.
It's a virtual reward. It's worth as much as all the other ones.
Valid.
Oh man,
Valid.
61 with the 4X, 33 with the 5X, and 000 with no incidents. That's great. High score for Theo. Thanks, Theo.
Thank you.
Ted Fort. Do we want to talk to? We should probably talk to Randy Bish. That's always a good idea.
Always.
Randy Bish, you are in the broadcast booth. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Howdy, boys.
So explain your setup to us for the Silly Hats only race, and did you use it again in the second race?
Oh, yes, I did use the same silly hat race. So my car is just like a strange part of the internet. It is controlled entirely by feet. So the left pedal down is gas, left pedal up is brake, right pedal down is left, right pedal up is right.
I see no failure with this plan. You seem to be able to handle it fairly well-ish.
I mean, the competition was like a keytar and some dude churning butter, so the bars are admittedly low.
Well, churning butter, and driving with feet are both subsets of some parts of the internet, as you're well aware.
Rules 34 never let us down.
I sincerely hope that I never find Rule 34 for lemons, ever, never. Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you again for joining us, Randy. You are, as always, entertaining. And
A lot of Bish fans in chat, Randy. Gotta let you know about that.
let me know. when you-
We got to bring the fans of Donny Iris out here. We're coming out 10-10. We got to really rock everyone to death. And yeah, it's for the fans.
What are you going to do with your winnings check?
Probably buy about 3 sheets of toilet paper.
Oh,
You could have Donnie Iris play your next birthday party.
Whenever you're from Pittsburgh, that's just like a given. Like, you might not even know it's your birthday. Donny Iris just shows up, knocks on your door, and goes, "Okay, are you ready?"
I'm ready to move to Pittsburgh if that's the case.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's how it is.
You missed a prime opportunity for a pow down to pants in that joke, so I'm going to have to send you back without making that one.
There's no joking about Pansanat. Pansanat's a very serious establishment.
That's right.
So I just realized my best iRacing office accessory is the cowbell that my wife's Wisconsin great-grandparents had, and I'm going to use it now. See? Genuine 1880s Wisconsin cowbell.
Fantastic. I'm going to let Randy get back to probably drinking, I assume.
Thank you for that. That was some of the best streaming quality I've ever heard.
Bish love. Big love for the Bish.
Well done, Randy.
Vicious love, vicious life.
So I hope all you Lemons teams are getting ready to build your giant root vegetable outfits for your cars, because I expect to see them.
Indeed. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us. I know that Ryan has another race he's got to go talk to. That's probably like exactly the same as what we do, right?
Yeah, it's exactly the same. No, we have some time if there's anyone else you want to talk to. I mean, we got some time.
I think we're good, but
Okay.
well, Eric might-
Okay.
Well, we'll call it an evening. I think
Okay.
that's
Yeah, it's been great. What's next on deck for the 24 Hours of Lemons iRacing League?
That's right. So you can go to isuckatracing.com. Get the full schedule. Thursday, we're going to have our normal league sprint start of season 2. I believe we're at Sonoma, that place that eats cars in real life. They have it in the game. We're going to be glad to be there. And then on Sunday, we are going to have Road America for a 2-hour endurance race. So that'll be our first attempt at multi-driver racing on Sunday. So it's going to be plenty of it to go around. We'll do another one of these in 2 weeks also, some other format. And we're going to try and sprinkle in some more of the silly hat stuff throughout.
Excellent.
Maybe every night if we can. It's just
Excellent.
that great. So,
Yes, it is. I almost want to get involved myself. Find some type of way to construct something amazing, because I've been inspired by all these participants.
it's the butter churn, isn't it?
Yes, it is actually. A theremin, but then again, my roommates, which would be my family, probably wouldn't appreciate the theremin, but I think that would be hilarious too.
Yeah, agreed.
All right,
Phil,
excellent.
any final thoughts?
Yes, they have Bathurst, Chris.
root vegetables. Make them happen.
All right.
All right, well, we'll
right.
do another race, guys.
Thank you to everyone for tuning in tonight and joining us, and especially our viewers on Twitch. All one of you right now. We love you. So, yeah, that's great.
You got to be serious to be on Twitch for this.
That's right. We're
course,
serious.
thank you
That's
to
how there
Nemesis
is. There's
Labs.
ACR Speed. Yes, we love you. Yes, big love. But yeah, we're talking about doing some different things, and I've been impressed with what we've done so far, and look forward to doing it next time.
Good deal. We'll see you guys on Thursday.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Oh, it's drunk out tonight. It's settling like the dew. And I have even noticed that the walls are plastered too. The bartender stagger and he surely had his share. Let's have another drink, we can't go home, it's too darn drunk out there. Kelly was a drinking man, he'd drink from night till morn. You could always find him at a bar, soaking up the corn. When closing time would roll around, they'd start to throw him out. He'd get a grip up on the bar, and then he'd loudly shout, oh, it's drunk out tonight, it's settling like the dew. And I have even noticed that the walls are plastered too. The bartender staggering, he surely had his share. Let's have another drink, we can't go home, it's too darn drunk out there. Kelly's wife came a-hunting him with murder in her eye. She found him at his usual spot, soaking up the rye. She got old Kelly by the arm and started for the door. He got a firm grip on the bar and shouted then once more, oh, it's drunk out tonight, it's settling like the dew. And I have even noticed that the walls are plastered too. The bartender staggering, he surely had his share. Let's have another drink, we can't go home, it's too darn drunk out there. New Year's Eve to spread a little cheer. He tried to drink up everything and ended up on beer. A cop come over to his automobile for just a little talk. Says, are you figuring on driving home? He says, sure, I'm too drunk to walk. Oh, it's drunk out tonight, it's settling